Face the Nation interview with Antony Blinken. I'm going to try and get, I find it so painful, but I'm going to try. For you guys, I'm doing this. For you, I'm trying. Oh, God. Here we go.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who is at the State Department. Good morning to you, Mr. Secretary.
Morning, Margaret. Good to be with you.
That's a little fast. I watch it on fast forward because there's no reason to like actually listen to these people at normal speed. But anyway, so I'll lower it to 1.1 speed though.
Tension is very high in the region. Are you changing your security posture? Are you
tension? So I'm going to try and point out each propaganda term that's used, but it's not. Sometimes it's so much you can't even do it. But tension is high in the region. Think about that for a second. They're perpetrating a genocide, and rather than saying thousands of innocent people are being murdered and are on the cusp of dying from other things, medical problems. There's babies in incubators. Remember that fake story from Iraq? Well, now it's real. There's babies in incubators that the backup generators of the hospitals that still exist that haven't been bombed. Though when that power goes out, those babies will just die. So anyway, my point is just, she's not saying, hey, thousands of innocent people are being murdered. And she can, if she wants, she can mention the Israelis. So 1,500 Israelis were murdered and 6,000 Palestinians, Gazans so far. Israel has 10,000 hostages. What are you doing about that? That would be the legit way, the real way to reveal it, to ask it, to ask the question. But she can't say that. She has to do propaganda, even in her question. So her question is, tensions are high. Doesn't that sound nice? It sounds almost like, like tensions are high. Sounds like you're baking a cake and you're also trying to watch your toddler at the same time. And like he's screaming and you're trying to open the oven to like check on it. And that feels like tensions are high. This feels more like genocide is high.
Pulling any U.S. personnel out of the area?
Margaret.
I mean, not are you thinking of demanding they stop their genocide, just are you thinking of getting the hell out of there?
We are concerned at the possibility of Iranian proxies escalating their...
So there you go. He's already shifted it to Iran. You've got Israel murdering innocent people by the minute. And he's like, Iran? Let me tell you what Iran did. Fuck Iran. They didn't do shit. They haven't done shit. The U.S. and Israel have done a lot. Israel is bombing children with U.S. bombs right now. But let me tell you about Iran.
Attacks against our own personnel, our own people. We're taking...
Our own people, our own personnel. Well, first of all, you know what he means when he says U.S. personnel. This is the U.S. military stationed around the world because we're an empire and we think we own the world. That's what those are. They're not just personnel.
Every measure to make sure that we can defend them and, if necessary, respond decisively. Not at all what we're looking for, not at all we want, but we'll be prepared if that's what they choose.
It actually is what they want. They're trying to provoke. They've been trying to provoke Iran for years. They want to do everything they can to harm Iran. So they are looking for, they might not want all out war with Iran because Iran is pretty damn strong. Iran is not Iraq. So they might not want all out war, but they do want to harm Iran in all ways possible.
Used to do.
So that sounds like quite possibly pulling people out in terms of...
I just love the idea that all she can ask about is, like, she seems, this is her first question. She has him for about 3 minutes on this show. She has the Secretary of State on this show for 3 minutes, and all she can ask so far, she gets to other stuff, but all she can ask so far is, when are you going to get the Americans home? Are you going to take the Americans home? That sounds like you're going to take the Americans home. Palestinians are dying by the thousands.
The threat from Iran you just referenced there. President Biden in his Oval Office address said that the U.S. would hold Iran accountable. What does accountable mean?
Well, what you've seen already, Margaret, is...
Back to Iran. First two questions. Think about what this is a discussion of. This is a discussion of Hamas's attack on Israel, Israel now genociding the Palestinian people, a long-term plan that Israel has had for many years. And so far, the first two questions are all about Iran, because that's what they want to pivot to. That they want to pivot this. They don't actually give a shit about Palestinians. They don't give a shit about saving them, helping them at all. They want this to become a situation where they can harm Iran in one way or another. Increased sanctions, increased economic war, etc. Maybe full on, attacks. But they want to see what they can do to harm Iran.
A very clear message from the president, backed up by the deployment of 2 of our largest aircraft carrier battle groups, to make sure that it's clear no one should take advantage of this moment to escalate to further attacks on Israel, or for that matter, attacks on us, on our.
To escalate. What is Israel doing right now? They're fucking escalating. They're escalating like maniacs.
Personnel. And this is not by way of, in terms of what we're doing by provocation. It's designed to deter, designed to make clear that no one should use this moment in any way to escalate.
Yeah. Everything the U.S. does is designed to deter, right? You guys know that, right? We just deter stuff. We're never involved in actually causing things.
We'll stay tuned. In terms of what's happening in Gaza, I know there are an estimated 500 to 600 Americans there. Is there any chance Israel lets some of those Americans out, or Egypt allows some of those Americans in?
Wow, I skipped through some of this. I hadn't realized how American focused this thing is. Like, how many thousands have to die for you to stop just asking about Americans? Like 6,000 Palestinians, half of those children, and you just keep asking about Americans?
You're exactly right. And to date, at least, Hamas has blocked them from leaving, showing once again its total disregard for.
Hamas had blocked them from leaving. Israel has all of the exits closed. You asshole. Hamas has blocked them from leaving. Mm-hmm.
Civilians of any kind who are stuck in Gaza.
Have you asked the Israeli government?
How do civilians get stuck somewhere? Oh, maybe there's a giant wall. Oh, maybe they're in a prison. Oh, how did that become a prison? Oh, did Israel or the U.S. have anything to do with that? I don't know what you're talking about.
To delay in order to give you more time to broker the release of these hostages?
First, step back.
Yeah, because the U.S., the largest warmongering state in the world, the responsible party for killing 6 million people in just the war on terror over the past 20 years, they should be brokering the hostage negotiation. They're good at creating peace and brokering deals. Yeah.
Back for a second, because it's important to remember what happened. It's incredible how quickly that gets lost, because it was only a couple of weeks ago.
So this is a careful propaganda tactic. Is he doesn't want to shift the conversation to the Palestinians and things like that. So instead, he's just going to rehash how horrific the Hamas attack was, whether they're telling the truth about the Hamas attack or not. I mean, very well, much of what they tell may be lies. There's been many reports, some of them I've covered, that a lot of the civilians who were killed by IDF because they just walk straight. So Hamas goes into these kibbutzes and kidnaps people, but at first they have them, they're holding them. They haven't yet transported them back to Gaza, and IDF storms the kibbutz and just kills everything. They don't care if they're killing prisoners or Hamas or what. This is not to say that, Hamas didn't do anything wrong. And I actually think that people who run around saying Hamas has never killed an innocent civilian, you're probably walking on thin ice there. But there are a lot of reports that although a lot of innocent people got killed, they were not all Hamas, and perhaps a lot of them were IDF that did the shooting.
That Hamas invaded Israel with its terrorist fighters and slaughtered, and I use that word very deliberately, slaughtered so many people.
See, and you'll notice they'll use the accurate terminology for killing someone when it serves their propaganda. So Hamas slaughtered these people, but is Israel slaughtering people in Gaza? Would they ever use that term? Never in a million years would they say Israel has slaughtered 6,000 people in Gaza. So it's only that propaganda only goes one way. And they're not going to call it a genocide. They're just going to call it defending itself. Israel defended itself on another 1,000 children in Gaza. They defended themselves. Oh yeah, great job defending yourself.
Again,
right.
Men, women, young children, babies.
Absolutely horrific, that attack.
Well, also when he's men, women, young children, babies, you could be saying the same thing about Israel's bombing right now. Right now. One of those is in the past. The one you're describing is in the past. How about the one that's happening now? Wow. You could even say, man, I wish we'd stop that Hamas attack. Now, let's also stop the killing of more innocent people. Let's continue that. Let's do that now. But of course not. He's not even calling for an end to Israel's bombing, is he?
Attack was 2 weeks ago. Turning the page to what has happened during the following 2 weeks, UNICEF says 1,524 children have been killed in the Gaza Strip during these bombings.
So finally, she's shifting it to children after she's done her good propaganda job through the first half of this interview.
Why isn't the U.S. calling for at least a temporary ceasefire?
First, Margaret, when I hear the stories, when I see the pictures.
Oh, there's nothing like a cold-hearted killer with no soul and no pupils in his eyes. There's no pupils there because he's a demon. No soul and no pupils in his eyes for him to go, oh, I am so hurt by the harm that our bombs have done to Palestinians. Oh, God, it's so believable, isn't it?